Hi, everyone. I am Jamie Vaughn with CCM, and I'm here today with new daddy of a third baby, Ryan Stevenson. How are you?
Thanks for having me today. Glad
Good,
to.
good. So you had a new album come out called Wildest Dreams on June 5th, but you also got a brand new release that day, family wise.
Yeah, same day. Can you believe it? Yeah, we had a little baby girl that same day, which was crazy. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. We
Oh,
were
wow.
we were supposed to have her a week later, but they bumped us up a week, so it just kind of all happened. All came crashing down on the same day.
And how are her big brothers handling it?
They love her. Yeah, they're so awesome. We have a 7 and 9 year old, and they've been wanting a baby sister for a long time, and we honestly thought we were done after two. And surprise number three is uh, here, and we are so happy, so stoked. She's so sweet. All she wants to do is sleep and eat, but she's her schedule's a little off,
Yeah.
so she likes to be up at about 11:30 at night, kind of in there, so till about 4 a.m. So
Oh, wow. So you are in newborn brain fog right now.
yeah, a little bit.
Well, I would love to talk about your new album, Wildest Dreams. You have a song for your dad and a song for your mom on there. I would love to hear the inspirations behind that.
Sure. Well, the the song um, about my mom is a song called "When We Fall Apart," and for me, that one is probably one of the deepest songs I've ever really worked on, and just really came just all from me, from my heart. My mom was 56 years old when she lost her battle with cancer. I'm the baby of our family. I'm the only son. So my mom and I were super tight. She was really the one who kind of just really nurtured my dreams and my passions, and was kind of pretty much, she was just kind of my whole world, and we were real close. And so, when she died, I really felt almost kind of orphaned at 30 years old. It was very strange.
Yeah.
But kind of, a couple years ago, I was doing some songwriting, and I was actually writing a book. And part of my book process was to go back and remember these pieces of my life and these chapters of my life that I'd walked through, because it's an autobiography, and I had to remember that season with my mom, and my journey with her during the days that she was really sick, and
Yeah.
particularly at the end when she was on hospice. And there was just a conversation that she and I had this one day in particular, that she she wasn't very coherent.
Mhm.
She was on morphine, and in a ton of pain. She wasn't speaking very clearly, but what she did say are the words to this song. Essentially, she just dropped this wisdom bomb on me, if you will, and just told me things. I was sitting here just on her bedside, losing it, completely undone, just a wreck, knowing that this is going to be our last conversation. And she just said some things that were like, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go be with the Lord. I'm fine. But don't think for 2 seconds that you need to be fine. Don't think that you need to try to put on some tough exterior and walk out of here thinking that you got to have it all together, and be strong when you're not, because our greatest strength is really our weakness. It's in our surrender. Sometimes we don't see anything clearly unless we see it through our tears. And sometimes the only way we fall apart, the only way we heal that brokenness, is when we just let go, and let go of our grip of control, and let those pieces just fall apart, because God picks up the pieces, and it's okay to just let it all crumble. And I just thought, man, that was so wise. And that was 10 years ago. And so years later, as I'm writing this book, I remembered this conversation. I'd almost forgotten about it. And that was really the start of writing the song. And I wanted to share those words that she told me on her deathbed, that would just maybe encourage other people. Because we're all people. We're all going to face loss. but we're uniquely crafted as individuals to go through those things, and it's okay for all of us to grieve whatever that looks like. It's important. It's healthy. And I didn't do that. I didn't grieve for her. I thought I had to be strong for years, and it it actually really did some damage, in me emotionally. And so it's been really freeing and really therapeutic over the last couple of years to just remember her and grieve and finally just let that go after all these years, and just honor her, honor her life, um, and help other people in the process.
Yeah. I
Uh,
never got the song about your dad.
and the song about my dad is called "With Your Life." It was kind of a last minute thing that I wasn't planning on writing a song for him, but my sister called me one day and told me that my dad uh, was having some health problems and that he was probably going to be diagnosed with Parkinson's. And the backstory is my dad and my mom was my whole world. My dad and I weren't necessarily close. I knew that he loved me, but he was incapable of saying it. And I'm the kind of person, I need to be told, I need to be held, I need to be touched. Like that's how you communicate to me that you love me. My dad, he didn't do that. He showed us how he loved me by providing or taking me hunting or spending time, and I just wanted to hear it. I wanted to feel him, and I resented him for a long time because of that. And I resented the way he treated my mom. Not that he treated her bad, he treated her amazing, but I resented the fact that he was even distant emotionally with all of us. And I carried a lot of bitterness around for a long time. Well, when I got this call from my sister telling me that he was sick and probably going to start having some pretty significant health problems, it was like in the truck that day while I was driving down the freeway, this grace for him just arrived out of nowhere. And I realized in that moment, I don't need to hear anything from him. I don't need him to say anything with his mouth. He's shown me his entire life, my entire life. He has shown me, and he's proved that he loved me with his life, with his actions. And so that's just where that song comes from.
I love that. And then you have a super fun song on here called My 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that one real quick. That song's pretty self-explanatory. That's my favorite song on the record, I think. I love doing those ones. I try to put like a nostalgic kind of throwback thing on every project that I do. But, for those of us who grew up in the 90s and being influenced by 90s music and 90s movies and 90s culture, that song is just kind of a reminder, just a nostalgic joy bomb for all of us to just remember, like, oh man, the 90s were really amazing.
Yeah, they were fun. It made my heart happy this morning.
Thank you.
So you said you have a new book coming out. How did that all come about for you?
Again, I wasn't setting out to write a book at all. I never ever wanted to do that. It just sounded like an insurmountable feat, and that I wasn't willing to do it. But I had a bunch of time to kill in a van one day. I had 11 hours. Our flight got canceled to Virginia.
Okay.
And I had 11 hours in the van because we had to drive to our first show. So I just got out my computer and I just started writing some stuff down while I finished this first chapter really quick. And then I realized, well, maybe I'll just try to write something else. And it was like somebody popped a cork and it all just came flowing out, and I couldn't stop it. I couldn't shut it off. And so I just kept writing and writing and writing for about 14 days straight, 12 hours a day. I just kept writing my story, and the Lord just kept bringing these memories and these pivotal trajectory shifting areas of my life to the forefront of my mind, and I would just write about them and remember them and kind of wove that into a story that ended up being an autobiography. So I shared and I just wanted to get my story down. Mm-hmm. Whether or not anything ever happened to it, I just wanted to at least write it down for me so that I could remember it and have it. And I shared it with a friend, and he's like, dude, this is like a book. This is significant. This is serious. Like, I think publishers would be all over this. So he's like, can I send it to a publisher friend of mine? I'm like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. I had no expectation at all. And I got a call back like 2 days later from the actual boss at the publishing house. And they're like, this is amazing. We want to partner with you. We love it. So I just wrote it down. The rest of it, I have very little to do with, honestly.
Well, that's amazing. That comes out July 7th. So very soon, right around the corner, it comes out in Harvest House.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can pick that up at your local Christian bookstore or Amazon or any place that you can buy a book, which is so much fun. And then on top of the new baby, the new album, the new book, you have a new podcast coming out also called Weathering the Storm.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you hoping to take away from that?
That is something that I'm really excited about. And it's just been such a refreshing lane outside of music, even outside of the book and writing. Like I'm just so, I get my energy from people. I'm just so relational. Like I love talking to people, and the times I've been healed and inspired the most in my own life is when I've heard people's testimonies. And this podcast is just that. It's called Weathering the Storm. And I have 12 different guests in this first season that I brought them in, and we just had a conversation. They're different guests who I knew some of their story, but I thought it was really compelling because they've navigated some pretty tremendous storms of their lives, and they're coming in and sharing and talking about pretty vulnerably about their struggles, their failures, their tremendous storms, their losses, and showing and just basically explaining how God met them in the middle of that stuff, and what they've learned through the storm. And so, again, super powerful stuff. I go back and listen to everyone. I'm just blown away by these testimonies. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's all very exciting. I also learned that you are a former paramedic. So how did that career shift happen for you from being a paramedic to going into full-time singing songwriting?
How much time do you have? I'm just kidding.
All the time in the world.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I was a paramedic for years. Managed the frontline 911 ambulance medic unit in a busy city system, and I thought I was probably going to do that forever. But I really love music, and I've hoped. I was playing music kind of regionally and locally at coffee shops and stuff, thinking maybe someday something will happen and I can do music full time. But that's a pretty lofty dream. That's a long shot. And honestly, it took place in the form of being on the ambulance. In a nutshell, I ended up responding to a 911 call where a lady had been struck in the head by lightning. I ended up responding to that call, saved her. She was dead. She was full cardiac arrest. I knew she wasn't going to make it, but I ended up reviving her in the back of the ambulance on the way to the hospital. And months later, she and I met up and connected at a banquet, and she started learning about me and my life and who I was, and kind of like got to meet her rescuer really for the first time, and that just kind of started this cool kindred connection and friendship. And she wanted to help me pursue my dream if I had one. And I told her, I was like, yeah, I love music and I want to do music full time and help people with my songs. And so she helped me get into a recording studio, and that first little project that I recorded with her help landed me my first little record deal, and it got me kind of cracked the door open for songs at Christian radio and connected me with some people. And that was like really the moment from a lightning strike call on the ambulance, meeting this lady, her helping me, was the catalyst that shifted me out of the paramedic world. Because then I started getting touring opportunities, and I couldn't work as a paramedic full-time and tour full-time. Couldn't do that. So I chose to go the music route and really give it my best shot. And here we are.
It worked out amazingly.
Yeah, I should preface that with saying it wasn't an immediate like, oh, he saved a lady, and it was just,
Right.
smooth sailing. Like it was pretty treacherous for a long time, and a lot of ups and downs in that, a lot of moving parts. In fact, I honestly, the record deal that I first got, I got dropped from that label after 10 months. And so I thought it was over, but then I met this dude named Toby Mack, and then things kind of revived, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Toby has a little say.
Yeah, he does.
So as a singer and songwriter, what is the favorite lyric that you've ever written or song?
Favorite lyric that I've ever written. Honestly, I think we just kind of talked about it today, this song about my mom called When We Fall Apart. The first song in a long time that I wrote start to finish by myself. I didn't outsource it to any co-writers. I knew it was something for me. And I was up night after night after night getting it perfect. And I think I loved it so much because it was so healing for me to remember my mom through that process. And so When We Fall Apart for sure is probably my favorite so far.
Opposite side of the coin, what song or lyric do you wish you had written that somebody else did?
That I wish I had written that somebody else did.
Yeah.
Ooh, and what a great question.
And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be Christian music either.
I wish I would have written Billie Jean, honestly.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so while we're wrapping up this interview, I would love to see if you had a message of hope for our viewers.
Sure thing. I know that with the season we're all in right now, none of us are immune to what our culture and society is encountering right now. We're all in this kind of crazy, weird space. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of social unrest and cultural unrest. But honestly, I'm seeing that this is actually a really sweet time and a really needed time for all of us to slow down and really focus on what's important in our lives. I've been reading in Colossians lately, and Colossians 2 says to fix our minds on the things of heaven and not the things of earth, and to have a heavenly perspective. And it's so easy to have an earthly perspective. It's so easy to just focus right here, right now, on my problems, on my stress, on the angst and disunity and everything that's going on in our culture. When I feel like when we fix our minds on the things of heaven and have a heavenly perspective and realize that our ultimate goal is to be with the Lord, it really sets us free to just love people really well here. So I guess I would encourage, and I'm talking to myself too, I would encourage us all to fix our minds on the things of the Lord and just to realize that God is not concerned about our opinion about other people. Honestly, I don't think he cares about our opinion. He cares about how we're being compassionate and loving people who maybe we don't even like, maybe we don't agree with their lifestyle, but it's our job, it's our responsibility and our mandate to love people well. And second, I think that there is more good in our world than the media shows us. If you're fixated on news and the media, you're going to be super stressed out. But if you get outside your house and you go get in community with other people, you realize very, very quickly that we're all just people, that we all need each other, and that there's really not a lot of crazy hyped stuff going on. There's some of it, but if you want to make a statement about unity, go get in community with people. That can be your statement. And that's what my family and my friends, we try to do, is be in each other's lives. And I think that's really healthy for all of us. We need to all be doing that.
Ryan, thank you so much for stopping by and talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations on the new albums. I'm excited to read the new book and your podcast, and best of luck on everything that's coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.